performance venue. We have a lot of those around town, but they're varied in size. We have small venues, basements, warehouses, things like that. And then we have the Wexner Center and the Ohio Theater. What we're looking to do is hopefully make more of a mid-range venue. Something big enough to hold a theater performance or a dance performance where there could be chairs and people could be seated, but still intimate enough where if we have a band come in, they're not going to feel like they're playing in a big empty room. Ideally, we would want it to be flexible. We want it to be programmed, 7 days a week, maybe 6 days a week, so we have a day off. Dodson says no. So you have this facility that every night there's something going on, and there's a rotation. It's not just indie bands playing or not just theater performance. It's all of that. It's anything anybody can run up with. Not only that, but and this will kind of go into some of the next components. You have people that need to hold workshops, and they need a large space to do that. You have people that want to have large community meetings. Would it not be nice to have one of these meetings in a space like that rather than the old gallery? Now the office component is pretty crucial, and David, I'm not saying that right.
Really close.
Hunanyo. Thank you. Is going to help us out. And the idea is to have two different types of spaces. It's to have office space, and then the next side will be co-working. But having a dedicated office space where creative professionals, and we're not going to limit what that can be because there's all kinds of people doing all kinds of creative things. Basically have access to a dedicated office space, but at the same time they're in a creative building. They have the opportunity to be close to artists making things. They have the ability to be in with other professionals, whether it be photographers, videographers, and then just having all of those creative people or all those businesses together, they can feed off of each other. So, if an accountant, a lawyer, and an insurance person are all in the same building, they're providing services to people that, that live in the building, or not live in the building, that work in the building. Sorry, no live space. So essentially we're doing a sort of built-in synergistic environment. Co-working, which Dave runs Sandbox currently, it is that kind of space. It's getting many creative individuals going into one space and being able to work close to each other, so that if you need a web developer, there's one sitting right across the desk from you, and you don't have to worry about hunting one down or working remotely. You get to know those people and get familiar. We're envisioning this whole office space serving as benefit. They'll be beneficial to musicians starting off. They'll be able to talk to a lawyer or a web developer or a social networking guru that can help them promote what they do. Just the same, we'll have a team to help us run the actual facility, where we'll have people that we can rely on for information. I don't know who Timothy Gill is, but I really like this quote. And I like it because what Josh is trying to do is bring in retail. Josh Quinn owns Tiger Tree, and he'll be doing the retail component and the food component. This may seem like something bringing some sort of extravagance into in an artist space, but really, the way Josh has been talking about it makes a lot of sense. It's building an ecosystem where, okay, we have artists making things and we have businesses, running companies, and everybody's creating something, and at some point they have to make money doing it. And I think if you ask anybody in the group, none of us are shy about the idea of artists and creative people making money. That is something that I think that we all want to see happen. Along with that, if you have artists making things, and then they have a shop right there to put things in, or several shops to put things in, and those shops have the benefit of relying on a steady stream of exhibitions and and performances going on where if they're open at the correct hours and everybody's working together, it becomes a destination. So right now the reason the Short North is a shopping destination is because there's a critical mass. And what we'd like to do is create a critical mass of retailers that understand the idea of what the building's trying to achieve and can help support that ecosystem. And then along with that, food, drinks, and store. This is kind of something that we know we'll have, but we don't know how we'll have it yet. And this is something that we're also looking for feedback on. We like the idea of having a bar associated with a venue, or a coffee shop associated with people working in the building, offices. Everybody needs a cup of coffee to go to work. Also, just the need of, right now in Junction View, if you're working here late at night, you end up going to Giant Eagle, or you end up going to Alexander's drive-through to get whatever you're drinking. Well, hopefully we'd be able to have some sort of component where there's things for sale in the building, so an artist late at night can just walk downstairs or walk across the hall. It's right there. We've run a couple different ideas through things. We've discussed the idea of a barcade and a brewery and sort of all these, different flex ideas. A lot of people have been approaching us with ideas. What we're hoping to do is try to find a way that we can create something that's going to coexist with the space. And until we understand exactly what the makeup of that space is and the arrangement of it, we won't know how to fit this component in. So please make suggestions. And then, just like Junction View, anybody that works in the building, anybody that's been to the building knows that when we have a show here, every square inch of space is used. And I kind of use this slide too to talk about this idea of flex spaces that we've been talking about. A lot of artists own design companies and need two different types of spaces. And rather than having to rent two different types of spaces, we'd like to create spaces that exist as both. Maybe it's a retail space where, say, a jeweler working has a storefront, but then also a back room where production can be done. Maybe it's a designer who needs an office to work in, but also needs a place to do sign making and production painting. Those kind of flex spaces can kind of help tie the areas in, so it's not like you're walking from office and then all of a sudden you're in a sculpture studio. We'd like to see some sort of meshing of those things. Every inch of the building can be used. We've talked about making corridors into exhibition spaces and having kiosks and even things like using the parking lot for farmers markets and outdoor movies. We're hoping to have all the corridors be things that can be used for different aspects of what people are bringing in. And we've gotten a lot of suggestions already about sort of odd little things that can kind of fit in the building and make those spaces active rather than just dead hallway. So we've had a lot of emails come in, and the next couple sets of slides hopefully will address some of the questions. And what I'll do is I'll just kind of do general talking points, and then at the end of the presentation, rather than it being a slow production where everybody's got to sit, we're going to split up and let everybody kind of ask us individual questions about things. Any general questions about the building, we can all answer. I would be art specific if you have questions about studio space and things like that. Dotson would be music space, venue. Josh would be retail space. David would be office space. And Kevin will hopefully be able to answer all questions about the building that he possibly can. There's a lot of things that are probably going to head to him.
Can you have them actually move around the front? This side of the room can't actually see who is who, as you were describing.
Oh, sorry. Everybody dance.
I'm Andrew Dotson. I'll field music questions.
Kevin Likens. I'll field any building-related questions.
Josh Quinn, retail.
David, office and co-working.